know what today is? Me neither. Hey there, people of the internet world, it's Kibatu. Well, welcome back to Let's Play Valkyrie Profile. So, we tried to go ahead and start on our next dungeon, but when you know it, the game decided to throw the bone right in our face and gave the second Cave of Oblivion. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but there's a Cave of Oblivion in all 8 chapters. So, we found the first one back there, then there's another one over here, and each of them are pretty much the same in the sense of you go in, you explore once, you find what you need, you fight the monsters you can find, and you're done. And you never go back. And it's a pretty short run and cut sort of thing, so... oh well. Alright, well... should I? No, I don't feel content trying to do that. So, instead, I'm curious about something actually. Can I move this here? There we go. I'm actually curious here about how this looks. So forgive me if this looks weird to you guys, but I'm curious what happens here. But while we're looking at this weird thing, let's go ahead and see what's next.
Do you know what a lapis is? Yes, but this isn't a normal one. It's special.
Do you think I'm silly?
No. Thanks for the encouragement. Fuyuki, if you found Cerulean Lapis, what would you wish for? I was such a fool.
Lapis! Grant my heart's desire!
Goodbye, Fuyuki. I'm sorry I lied to you.
I was not expecting this one so early. I did not expect... Wow, I'm a bit surprised that we're getting this one. Okay, so I guess we're gonna show off 2 new characters for our next dungeon when we get there. But yeah, this character in particular, I did not expect until much later. This is not the time. I didn't expect this one to be the first out of the few that we get. Huh. I thought we'd get this character much later. See, here's the funny thing about that. Let's see. Arngrim, Jolanda, Belinus, Llewellyn, and Laufer. They all stay the exact same. Belinus, Llewellyn, Jolanda, and Arngrim always come to you on chapter 1. Like, no one else. No ifs, ands, or buts. Chapter 2, at the very start of it, Laufer always comes in. After that, God knows who you're gonna get next. They do kind of stay in the same sort of area of chapters. Like, some characters are in chapter 2, but they can appear in chapter 4. Some characters come in chapter 5, but they can come in chapter 7. That kind of thing. It's kind of silly that way. But this one, I did not expect until chapter 4, though. I'm relatively surprised by this. I don't know. I will say, this story here might be one of my favorites out of this whole game. I say one of my favorites. I'm not gonna say it is my favorite, because I can tell there's excuse me for that. I can tell there's a couple of things weird about this, but I can tell they worked on this one more than some of the other ones. Not as much as Arngrim and Jolanda. Arngrim and Jolanda was the only one that was like long story length and whatever. But this one they can tell they put some effort into just to establish this piece, I guess. But enough bantering for now. Let's go ahead and take a visit to Highland, an island isolated just off the southwest coast. Highland has developed its own unique culture. It is filled with unusual flora and fauna, as well as less natural magical beings. flora and fauna. Why does that sound... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me think about this here. They didn't do that, did they? They didn't do that on purpose, did they? Because if they did... You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and enter, and I'm gonna have my laughing fit to myself, so excuse me. Man, when you scream those letters, and you put them in the boldest of bolds and the biggest fonts of big fonts. Like, really, that's how you know that that lady is screaming off the top of her lungs. Also, she's a mermaid. Like, legit, that's a fin tail, and like, look at the way she's dressed. That's like a Japanese mermaid. That kind of sounded weird, talking about... Actually, yeah, that does sound weird. A Japanese mermaid. That sounds so... Something about that mixture just seems so weird. I'm not saying that Japan can't believe in that kind of superstition, but the combination of a Japanese woman and a mermaid... Something's not clicking with that. Like, the image, I just can't see it. My apologies for that, but, oh well. I'm pretty sure that kid was staring at the lady. Like, I'm almost 100% sure that he was gawking at her. Yeah. Lapis Lazuli. Hey, we know that. Cerulean Lapis. Ooh, that's a new one. I don't think she appreciated that comment. Rumble controller. At least she made it clear on how it's pronounced. Kinda. It's like that's a really broken English way of saying it, but yeah, that's a way of saying that word, the Oozun. Oozun? What? Zune? What? Zune? Where? Where's this beer? Darn it. Oh, I clicked that a little too fast, sorry. But yeah, the Oozu. I don't know the full story on that one, and I think it's just a myth or not the myth. I think it's just the lore in this game. I don't think it's like an actual thing. But the Oozu is sort of, what is it? It's a... It is... What is... What? How much... How do I, How do you describe a number of whirlpools? Like a school of whirlpools? A class of whirlpools? A high amount of whirlpools? Something like that? But it's just a number of whirlpools that just kinda... You know... That just... It just kinda circle around a certain area. And yeah, they're whirlpools, so yeah, they kinda sink down. Though, that does raise a question. I wonder if anybody's actually has any recorded evidence of an actual whirlpool out in the sea. Because I imagine, like, seeing that out in the ocean like that, that feels like it would be very, very scary to see, because that's just a sinkhole for lack of a better term. It's just a sinkhole that just kind of sinks the boat and sinks everybody else with it. So if anybody's seen an actual whirlpool, maybe it's from the dock, or maybe from a safe distance from the boat, maybe it's possible. But, it'd be... It's a scary thought, actually. Just being out in the ocean, and all of a sudden a giant whirlpool will just sink you in your ship, and you can't possibly get out. That's a scary thought.
For Yuki, if you found the Cerulean Lapis, what would you wish for?
A splendid new ship? No. To be together? Should I wish for Yumei's safety? That's it! But what was it that Yumei wished for? Lapis, grant my heart's desire! I wish that Yumei is able to be with her parents again.
Because he loved her, he wishes for her death? His wish will be granted. I do not know if this girl will prove worthy of Valhalla. But as promised, they will be together.
If there was ever a love story that I want to see in a full motion picture, that would be it. It's a tragedy, yes, but again, you can just tell that the creators of this game put in a lot more effort into that story. There was a lot more in-depth, there was more emotions being produced. I mean, you saw the portrait when Yumei was a mermaid. You saw that there's those tears that they drew on her, and it's the feels, man. It's the feels. That, and it's one of the very few times we see CGI animation, because the Oozu was a thing, and it showed that it was a thing through the CGI animation. So that's another way that this showed that this was possibly a near and dear story for them to produce. I guess we'll call it that. As for Yumei's wish, it has to be hard for a child to go through something like that. To see their guardian, their loved one, someone that they honor, worship, cherish, someone that they look up to for their whole entire lives, to be ridiculed and to be considered an outcast for reasons. It must be hard. It must be one of the most painful things to really look for. And when you're at the point where you just can't produce tears or produce a smile, you can't even fake a smile for the sake of faking it to try and hide it. You just can't produce emotions. That has to be the worst feeling ever. As for what Yumei's decision was, of course I don't agree with it. Of course I don't agree with the fact that she had to do that just to try and be happy. I don't fully agree with that. I can understand to a degree, but I can't agree. If anybody out there at all ever feels like that, if anybody out there feels like that they need some emotional help to get through, and not only that, but if they also need like the unconditional love that their parents would give them, just lend a shoulder for them, lend a hand for them, because you never know. You never know how much they need you, when they need you, or why they need you. But if they need you, they need you. So, do your best to support them, please. Now, with that said and done, though, we have ourselves our next party member, Yumei. Not Yumi, Yumei. And she is our first, other spellcaster other than Yolanda. She is a spellcaster. And the thing about other spellcasters is that all spellcasters are pretty much the same. There's almost no difference in between one spellcaster to another other than maybe equipment and maybe the stats that you raise in your skill option. But other than that, there's really no other difference between spellcasters. Like, really, there's almost none. The only actual difference would be what they start with as abilities. Yumei here starts with Stone Torch, which is our first poison spell. This is considered poison because its counterpart is Poison Blow, and this is the single target poison thing, but when you cast it, it casts stone. So, yeah. And then she also has Icicle Edge and Frigid Damsel. So, that's kind of nice. But, yeah, with Yumei here, she's just another spellcaster. That's really all she is. There's really nothing else to her, other than the only thing that she's really useful for is that she resists ice. And that's it. There's really nothing else to her. I hate to say it that way, but it's practically the same for all other spellcasters in the game. I hate to say it that way, but that's how it is. But before we end this off here, why don't we go ahead and take a visit to Highland and see what the place is actually like. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there are a couple of things we can see here that we wouldn't be able to see because of certain circumstances. I'm alright with this, actually. I'm kind of alright with this. You say the same thing. Okay. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you, man. Get back. you guys might want to try and defend yourselves then, if that's the case. Can I not talk to you? There we go. And you... Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the Highland here, it's a nice little place here, actually. It's Japanese, Chinese orientated, so it already scores a point there. But it's at a brink of a war that's about to break out with demons as well, by the looks of it. Can I talk to you? There we go. Alright, so before we head up there, let's go ahead and see what's over here. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. So, let's take one last visit to the seashore. Oh, I can't walk. I can't walk! I can't walk as a regular Valkyrie. That's kinda useful. I wonder if Oyuki left that piece for her. No way of telling, I guess. I'm just gonna sit here for a moment because I think she still does it. Yes, she does. Ah, that's nice. That's a very nice sight to see. Okay, I'm done. I just had to see that, just so I can feel more at peace with this story. This story, like I said, is a fan favorite for a reason. So now you know. Now, this is probably a long ass video, but I feel bad if I didn't end this without taking a look at the next dungeon. Hopefully, it's a dungeon that I can actually go to. So let's see if we can actually find a dungeon. Well, it's a dungeon, thankfully. I'm thankful for that one. So, we are visiting Salerno Salerno? That's a mouthful there, jeez. Okay. Alright, so I guess next time we're visiting our next dungeon here. And I guess I'm also going to reorganize the party a little bit, just so I won't, so that I can show off Yumei as well. So, yeah, that'll be nice to see. We got ourselves 2 characters to show off this time. Yay! Alright. Excuse me. So, next time, we explore Salerno? Salerno? English! I can't English. Oh well. So with that said, this is Gibatu. And until we explore the Academy. Jeez. Goodbye to you. Laters!